Hi guys, welcome to your first Math with Max this school year. Let me introduce Max to you first because he was the originator of this. He helped me start it. So, okay, he's being a little. This is Max. Say hello, Max. There he is. You see him? Okay, let me see if I can get Rocky over here. You think he'll come? Okay. Come here, Rocky. Okay, let me show y'all Rocky really quickly. He's like not even trying to get up. Hi, Rocky. Yes. Are you sleepy? You're sleepy? And then there's Max being jealous. Okay, so this is your first Math with Max, and I had to do it on my phone because YouTube isn't letting me record it. So hopefully this uploads to onto YouTube for me later. The first one we're gonna do, well, you should have a handout that looks something like this. Except yours is going to be blank on one side so that you have room to show work, and then the other side will have this work on it, but just opposite on the back side. So same thing, but just the right side of your paper will be blank so that you can show your work. So the first one I want to focus on is number 3, and if you'll look right here, I'm focusing on the side that says Standard 3E, page 1. That's number 3. It says Claire is going to buy bagels for the teachers at Old Town Elementary. A dozen bagels cost $6.85. A single bagel costs 79 cents. If Claire buys 3 dozens and 1 single, how much will she have to pay? So before I get into that question, I want to give you like a little background information, some things you may already know and something you may not know. So this information is not important to the question, but I just want to remind you that just in case you ever do see another question like with this vocabulary in it, that you do know what it means. So just remember that a dozen does equal 12 pieces, and if I had 12 dozens, that would actually equal a gross, which is kind of a weird word for that, but a gross is actually having 12 dozens, which means you would have, like, for example, if you get 12 eggs and you buy 12 cartons of eggs, that would be 144 eggs. We already know 12 times 12 is 144. Okay, so just a little background just in case you don't know what how much is in a dozen and what a gross is. Okay, so going back to that question, number 3, Claire is going to buy bagels for the teachers at Old Town Elementary. So thank you, Claire, right? She's a good student. A dozen bagels cost $6.85. So, and then it goes on to say that Claire buys 3 dozens and 1 single. So my first step here would be to to work out the $6.85 times the 3 dozens. So I need to figure out how much that's going to be. So this is a multi-step problem. So I went ahead and I wrote it out already, $6.85 times 3. So because we're only multiplying this decimal number times 1 digit, I don't need to do my turtle because I already know that 3 times 5 is going to go first, and 3 times 8, and then the 3 times 6. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 times 5 first. So what is 3 times 5? And you should be thinking to yourself, 15. So I'm going to put my 5 down and then carry my 1 over, just like that. Okay. And now I'm moving on to my 3 times 8, and then whatever I get from that, I can add in my 1. So I know that 3 times 8 should give me 24, plus 1 more gives me 25. So I'll put my 5 here and carry my 2 over. I don't know if y'all can hear my dogs right now. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 3 times 6. 3 times 6 gives me 18, plus 2 more is 20. So I can go ahead and put that down as well. Okay. So this is what I have so far. However, I'm not done yet because remember from our math Bible, I taught you that when you're multiplying a decimal, you don't just drop down your decimal. In this case, yes, the decimal is going to go where you think it's going to go, but remember, when you start multiplying times more than 1 digit, it's not always the same, especially with a decimal times decimal. So don't get into the habit of just dropping down your decimal. That's how we're going to start making mistakes. So I need to count from the back of my number that does have a decimal. And in this case, only 1 number has a decimal, so I'm only concerned about this one. So I know I need to make waves. Pick up my fishy, drop them off at the pool, right? So that's 1 and 2. That would be the 2 decimal places that I need there. That means I'm going to need the 2 decimal places down here as well. Okay. So far for the 3 dozen bagels that Claire is buying for her teachers, that's going to cost her around $20.55. However, that's not the complete question. We know that she's also going to buy a single bagel for 79 cents according to the question. So we know we're adding that part in. So on top of this, I want to put the $20.55. But now we're adding decimals, which means I need to line up my decimals. And if I don't line up my decimals when I'm adding and subtracting, that's when I'm going to start making my mistakes. Remember, you only line them up when you're adding or subtracting. Otherwise, you don't have to do it. Okay, so at this point, this is what we should have. This is the second step, and this will help us get to our final answer. There's nothing underneath this 2, so remember that'll be a 0 right here. But we want to start at our lowest value, and our lowest value is over here in the hundredths place. So I'm going to go ahead and add that 5 and that 9 together. 9 and 5 should give you 14. Put the 4 down and carry over your 1. Okay. Now I'm going to be adding the 7, the 5, and the 1 there. 7 and 5 should give you 13, plus 1 more should give you 14. And then again, carry over that 1. 0 and 0 is obviously 0, plus 1 more is 1. And then you can simply drop down that 2 because there's nothing for it to add or subtract with. So. And so like I said before, when you're adding and subtracting, that's when you line them up, and then you can drop it down. But again, I repeat, it's only for adding and subtracting. Okay. So for all 3 dozens of bagels that Clara bought, plus the single bagel that she bought, it came out to $21.44. So if I look at my answer choices on that one, I should have gotten answer choice. Where did I mess up at? Miss Valdez made a mistake. That's okay. It happens. So I wasn't thinking. When I was adding the 7 and the 5 and the 1, that should have come out to 13. Sorry, guys. So that should be a 3. So $21.34. Remember, mistakes happen even to me when I'm not thinking. So $21.34. So I'm glad I was able to fix that. Okay. Moving on. I'm only going to do 2 questions with you. That was 1. And then I'm going to do 1 with you that's going to be on the back of your paper. So I'm going to be looking now on the side that says Standard 3E, page 2. Can y'all see that? Right there. And I want to look at question number, I think it's 1. Okay, yeah, number 1. It says, Evander goes to baseball practice on Mondays and Thursdays. Each practice lasts $2 and 1,500 hours. How many hours of baseball practice does Evander attend in 3 weeks? So first I need to figure out how many Mondays and how many Mondays and Thursdays are there in those 3 weeks. So I just made myself a quick little calendar to show myself in those 3 weeks. So we know that if this is week 1, he's going Monday and Tuesday, that's 2. If this was week 2, he's going Monday and, I keep saying Tuesday, but it's Thursday. That would be 4 times, and then again on Monday and Thursday for the 3 weeks, that would give you 6 times. So if he's going to practice 6 times in those 3 weeks, and each practice is 2 hours and 1,500, I know that I need to set up my equation like this. 2 and 1,500 times 6. And again, we're not using a turtle head here because we're only multiplying times that 1 digit. That's the only one that's going to get multiplied here, right? So starting here, I want to multiply 6 times 5. You know your 5, so that's going to give you 30. So put my 0 down and carry over my 3. Okay. Then I'm going to do the 6 times 1 plus the 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 more is 9. Nothing to carry over because it's just 9. It's less than 10. And then 6 times 2 should give you 12. Okay. So again, I want to count my weights. 1 and 2. That means when I put in my answer, I'm going to go 1 and 2. And then I'll drop my decimal. I do want to see the waves, just to remind you that that is the strategy that we're going to use. So our final answer comes out to 12 and 90 hundredths. So let's make sure that Ms. Valdez did her math correctly. So if I look at number 1, it is answer choice B. But if you notice on answer choice B, it says 12 and 9 tenths. Why is 12 and 9 tenths the same as 12 and 90 hundredths. If you remember, I said it was because that 0 in the back, and we should know this too, is that there is no value to that 0. So it doesn't matter if I put 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros, it doesn't matter. I can take them off. It's still going to be the same thing. That means 9/10 and 90 hundredths are equivalent to each other. Okay? So those are the only two I'm going to do with you. The rest of them are completely on your own. You're welcome to come back to the video and watch it again if you need reminders or you need help or you feel like you made a mistake and you're not sure. You can watch these videos at home. You just have to look up Math with Max. That's my channel. And hopefully I'll be able to record another one with you. Remember that you still have your other 3 centers. First, this one, obviously. Then your other one is going to be Small Group with Me, which will be a page from volume 1. And I'll tell you what page that is when you get to that center or before. You have your writing center for math, which is going to be how to solve decimal times decimals. And then you'll have your multiplication chart in your journal. But of course, I'm going to go over all that with you today. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed meeting my dogs. I don't know if my husband wants to come in and say hello or shout out hello.
Hello.
Okay, hopefully you could hear that. But I'm recording in my house. I want to take a look around real quick. This is just my little backdrop. I'm really into Halloween, so I'm starting to get my decorations going. But it's a slow process. Anyway, just make sure you get all your work done. And as soon as you're done with this video and the handout, make sure you put your Chromebook back away into the cart and make sure it's plugged in. Okay, so I'll see you guys later and hopefully you enjoyed this.